Yo, have you ever had to fight a spider? I have, and this is the story of that. Spiders, a lot of people not comfortable with them. I don't particularly mind spiders more or less than other bugs. All bugs I kind of dislike. In my household, if there's a bug, I can handle it. If there's a live thing that needs to be rescued, like a lizard, we call my wife. I'm not trying to grab a live lizard, but I'll kill a bug and I'll kill a spider. Now, we got to talk about size because size matters when you're talking about a spider. Some spiders are so small they're indiscernible as spiders. They might as well be an insect as opposed to an arachnid. I remember very early on in my marriage, I was sitting outside, I don't know, on the porch, drinking coffee, something, I don't know, I was outside. My beautiful wife was inside the house in the kitchen, and I hear her yell, she's like, "Hey, there's a fire, huge!" And I'm like, "There's a huge fire in the kitchen." I drop the coffee, run inside, "Where's the fire?" She's like, "No, there's a spider, a huge spider." And I was like, immediately relieved, because a huge spider is not as big a deal as a huge fire. We can agree on that, right? But when I saw the spider, I was like, it's not huge. Huge is the wrong word to describe the spider. Real small. It was a real small spider. But some people, they see a spider and it gets much bigger in their brain. I remember this one time, I used to send students to other countries on service projects. And I had sent this one guy. He was going to a Spanish-speaking country. He did not speak Spanish. That's not a problem. He had people around him. But he had a tremendous fear of spiders. When he observed a little spider, he actually saw a giant spider. Okay, some spider trying to kill him. At one point, taking a shower, he was on one side of the shower, and then on the other side of the shower, there was a spider. I don't know if it was hanging there or it was just on the door. So he's mid-shower, he turns around, he sees the spider, he just, starts screaming, top of his lungs. The person whose house it is comes and they start yelling at him through the door, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" They're saying that in Spanish. He wants to tell them, "There's a giant spider in this shower." And he tries to say that in Spanish, but all that he says in Spanish is, "Podemos! Podemos!" He just starts shouting, "Podemos," hoping that means there's a spider in here with me. That does not mean that. It is a word in Spanish. I believe it's a conjugated form of poder. I don't speak that much Spanish either. But I know podemos don't mean there's a spider in my shower. And the point is, it wasn't even a big spider, okay? It was also a small spider. Some people got a problem with spiders. The spider I'm talking about today is not small. And I have proof, I have videographic evidence. We're gonna cut to the tape. So I was on my post-college adventure in the jungles of Bolivia. I've told a story about this time in my life before, about the thirstiest I ever got. I'll link it if you guys wanna see that one. It was a good story about some fruit. Now, this was on the back half of my trip to Bolivia, and I had moved into this food center. It was like to help families that were struggling to feed all their kids. So we would prepare a meal, and so I would help cook, I would clean the place, I would just do whatever, and they let me live there in this room. Now, at this time in my life, I was a young man in my early 20s. And I didn't know that much about life and how to take care of things. I was kind of a slob is what I'm trying to say. I was pretty dirty. I would bathe semi-regularly, but I didn't wash my clothes very often. Look, I don't judge myself. I was a young single man, okay? But I didn't have a clothes hamper. What I had was a pile. And I just took my dirty clothes, I threw them in a pile. We've all been there, okay? We've been there. You had a dirty clothes pile in your life. This room was not climate controlled. There was no air conditioner. Didn't have a lot of airflow in there, and it would just get pretty dank. My sleeping experience in that room was not very good, I recall. I got attacked by ants quite often in my bed while sleeping. I was so hot and sweaty. Sometimes the bed just stayed wet. I realize this is gross, but my bed is basically a water slide. I jump in there, like to slip right out, okay? Not the best conditions. The paint was flaking off the ceiling. I would be laying there trying to sleep in the heat and sweat, and this paint would fleck down off the ceiling, hit me in the face. What's going on? I was being attacked in the room, is what I'm saying. So I should have seen this coming, but I didn't, okay? The clothes pile was where it always was, and it came time to do laundry. So I went over there, and I grabbed some clothes up off the floor, and I froze because underneath the pile was a tarantula. Not a small tarantula, okay? This is a full-grown tarantula. I'm sitting there with the clothes, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a tarantula, right? Unless there's another kind of furry spider, I don't know. I dropped the clothes and I'm looking at the thing. It's looking at me. It doesn't move. It's like, hey, you moved my house, dog. All right. This is not okay. For my reaction, let's go to the tape. I don't know if you can see the fear in my eyes. I'm not someone who hates spiders, but this is a tarantula. Why did it decide to invade my space? Why did it want to live under my pile of dirty clothes? We're never going to know the answer to that. I didn't have time to question it. I just armed myself with all that I could find. I had a broom. I got the broom. I was trying to channel in my mind John Goodman in that movie Arachnophobia, because he killed a giant spider. I know eventually they killed the spider with a fire gun. I did not have a fire gun. I had a broom. Now I was holding the broom, but first I tried to talk to it, because the one thing I know about a tarantula is you don't attack a tarantula, okay? You reason with the tarantula, so I tried. I'm like, dog, you gotta go. Excuse me. Podemos. Okay, so I'm like, you gotta get out of here, man. But he's not listening to me. He's not having it. So I take the broom and I try to I want to move him towards the door. So I got the broom and I'm trying to scoot him that way. He gets in his attack stance. Y'all know a tarantula attack stance. They lift up the two arms and they're whatever they got. They got arms and then they got side things. When they mean business, they pick them up and they freeze like whoop-pop. It's like a kung fu stance, tarantula stance. Bam. It's ready to go. It's ready to get you. Anything you read online about it, I didn't have the internet at that time, so I didn't know what it meant, but it was obvious what it meant. If you go look up right now, tarantula attack pose, you'll see it. That means they're not messing around. That means this is a fight. You're about to catch some hands, furry legs, about to catch some furry legs. It immediately strikes fear into me. It works. It does what it's supposed to do because I'm terrified. Again, I'm like, okay, I don't want to smash you with this broom. That's the wrong move, but I just want to scoot you over. I believe there's a character in Tekken that uses a tarantula stance. Perhaps her name is Zafina? Let's look that up. Zafina. Well, she's just crawling around on the ground. That's not the tarantula stance I'm talking about. I'm talking about like this. Tarantula's reflexes are so fast. It's been honed over years and years and years of being a dangerous spider. I take the broom. I feel in my heart this is a bad idea, but I'm like, look, it's me or him. With the broom, I try to scoop it to the side. It's ducking and jiving. It's one of these things. I needed Newt Scamander in there to try to dance it out. Anyway, I'm like, fine, I'm gonna have to press the broom down on the top of it and slide it out. That's my plan. So apparently I was also holding a video camera at this time. Even at that young age, I knew this something important is about to happen. I had the broom in one hand, the video camera in the other hand. I should have respected it more. So I pressed the broom down. It jumps on top of the broom. It starts climbing up the broom handle toward me. It basically took hold of my weapon. I was holding the weapon. It was like, nah, this is mine now, dog. It's a transport to you. I'm gonna ride up this weapon like a bridge, and I'm gonna strike your face. So I did what any person in their right mind would do. I took the broom, I chucked the broom out the door. I was this close to getting struck in the face by a furry tarantula. As soon as I chuck the broom out the window, it jumps off and it runs off to the side. Ha 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 ha! I did not sleep well in that room for the rest of my stint in Bolivia. I was like, that tarantula's coming for me. So there's a few tips, okay? If you gotta fight a spider, when they raise up like this, just get out of there. That means they're coming for you, okay? That's tip number 1. Number 2, broom ain't gonna cut it. Number 3, don't keep your clothes in piles. I still kind of keep my clothes in piles sometimes, but I don't think there are tarantulas up in my house. But I guess the main point of this story is if you're gonna fight a spider, get it on camera. That's something that 20-year-old Christian knew. You know what? It's worth it. Get this on camera.